2,400 years ago, philosopher Aristotle said, "We live in a world governed by law, not by chance." What if, in your life, there were unseen laws, 12 to be exact, that I'm holding right here, that are like this cheat code, the source script that's controlling every decision you make, every failure you've had, every heartbreak, every success you will experience. And that if you can know and tap into, you can get more of what you want and less of what you don't. That'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Most people just know one of these laws, the law of attraction, but where that's incomplete, the other 11 laws, I think, fill in the gaps. Many of these laws you could label as Hermeticism, sort of a hybrid of the Egyptian god Thoth and the ancient Greek Hermes. Hermes Trismegistus is the founder of a lot of these. I butcher his name every time because it sounds like a bad STD you don't want to get. I'm not proud of this. This isn't a reflection on who I am, but I do have trigonomistis. So I thought it'd be fun this morning for us to walk around the beautiful Arizona desert and unpack 12 cosmic laws that affect us all. Law number 1, the law of cause and effect. The Kybalion says every cause has its effect, and every effect has its cause. Chance is but a name for law not recognized. Simply put, every single action in the entire universe has an effect, no matter what. Obvious example, planting this cactus 20 years ago, 50 years ago, however long they take to grow, it's definitely real. The effect is that it shows up and it grows. But here's the thing, most of the cause and effect relationship in your life is not visible like the ripple in the lake or the cactus being planted. It's invisible. Take someone who gossips at work. They don't think much of it. They just, spill the tea everywhere they go. The effect is that they don't notice why people are treating them differently or why people are cold to them or don't invite them places. The effect, little did they know, they caused it by gossiping and running their mouth, and people are like, I can't trust this person. If they talk that way about them, I know they're talking about me. Applying this to you, humans are notorious for thinking short term, not long term. But here's the thing, most of the major effects in your life come from long term, not short term. The effect of you going after your dream, well, the immediate effect of that is kind of brutal. It's a lot of sacrifice, it's a lot of working maybe late nights or weekends, and you have to say no to things, but the long-term effects of that, earning your freedom, living a life others can't because you did things others won't, that's awesome. Your body getting in the best shape of your life, the immediate effects of that are painful and sweaty and uncomfortable, but the long-term effects of that are amazing. You have your health, you can take your shirt off at the pool, you can flex. I've often said that your life is a reflection of the actions you took 90 days ago. And I think that's a beautiful way to live. So think to yourself, what effects, results do you want in the future? What causes do you need to take today? The law of correspondence. One of my personal favorites right here. It states, as above, so below. As below, so above. What this principle is saying is that we too, since we're a part of nature, we mimic nature. I think this is so cool, the synchronicities that life creates, and it literally gives me goosebumps. A birth of a star versus the birth of a cell. The universe versus your brain cells. The solar system versus an atom. A helix nebula versus an eye. A galaxy and a hurricane. You have capillaries in your body that look like rivers. Your lungs look like an upside down tree. So if patterns exist in nature, isn't it probably likely that patterns exist in your life? Old self-improvement saying that if you want to be successful in a certain career, look back to who was successful before you and model after what they did. But what I like more about modeling is, yeah, other people are great. I like modeling yourself. When were you at your best? What were the patterns throughout your life that you've been doing when you were performing at your best, when you were happiest, when you were crushing it? When you change your inner world, your outer world is a reflection of it, and your life starts to look pretty good. Next up on our list, we have probably the most well-known, most spoke about, and you're probably the most familiar with, the law of attraction. 3 sentences that I think sum up the law of attraction, to my understanding. Like attracts like, what you think about, you bring about, and thoughts are things. This one is probably the most in line with the true meaning when people talk about law of attraction, that your thoughts are things. I used to talk about this a lot. To be honest, I kind of outgrew the camp. I don't want to put anyone down or like bash it at all. Not that it's necessarily wrong, I think it's just incomplete. Having consumed a decent amount of content in that camp, one thing I noticed is there's this weird extremist subgroup within it. They had this weird rule book where like you couldn't do certain things and it wasn't backed up by any grounding. They say don't think negative thoughts. Don't look at your past that's negative because that's going to attract more negativity to you. Maybe there's some truth to that on a basic level, but fundamentally when you look at like psychology and you look at self-healing or trauma work or shadow work or therapy, there's massive growth in looking at negative things that happened to you in your past. Also, thoughts are the first layer. In that camp with the law of attraction, it's important to look at your thoughts, but beneath the thought, there's an emotion. You might have a thought like things are going really bad for me, and that might be uncomfortable. But little did you know, it's your actual emotional state because you haven't gotten out in a week, you've been inside, that if you just went on a walk, changing your state, I'm sure all your thoughts would be a little more positive, wouldn't they? So it's not just about changing your thoughts, it's about changing your state, making sure you're fueling yourself with the right raw materials to have the best thoughts. Are thoughts important? Absolutely, but they're just the first layer. Don't get caught in a law that just makes you an absolute extremist, which ironically gives you a dogma that might not be serving you. Catching your thoughts is important. What's also important, next law on our list, the law of inspired action. And this is the thing that people don't really want to hear, in my opinion, in that camp, that, you know, they want these magical manifestation machines where things just pop up on their door. Action is the missing piece for a lot of those people in that hardcore camp. John Maxwell, old school self-improvement speaker, said dreams don't work unless you do. That's a perfect way to sum up this law. Yes, mindset and beliefs and thoughts are important. You know what I think trumps all of those? Action. You won't get ripped from downloading a workout plan. You gotta go to the gym and lift the weights. You won't get laid from texting people on the phone. You gotta meet up. You gotta get out there. Put yourself out there. I firmly believe that 1 hour of action for you beats 10 hours of consumption and planning. The point is, yes, you need the intention, but you also need the implementation. And that's where the law of inspired action comes in for you. What can you start moving one step closer towards today? Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you have the perfect plan, but I'm talking now after this video. What's the one action you need to do that if you did would move you closer to the thing you want? That's the law of inspired action, and watch the momentum start picking up in this direction for you. The law of polarity. Everything is dual, everything has poles. Everything has its pair of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Extremes meet. All truths are but half-truths. All paradoxes may be reconciled. If that don't explain polarity, I don't know what will. You've noticed these patterns. There's night and day, up and down, east and west. They're two sides and they're completely opposite, right? What's crazy though is that they're two sides of the same coin. Point in case. If I pulled out a thermometer for where we are now, and I said, okay, what temperature is it? You'd say, okay, it's looking 51 degrees. Now, is that hot or cold? You're in Arizona, you're used to 115, so technically, for us, it's cold. But what about 60 degrees? Yeah, it's still pretty cold, but not as cold. What about 70? Okay, what about 80? When exactly does cold stop becoming cold and hot starts becoming hot? It's a spectrum on a sliding scale. That cold slowly starts becoming hot, and really from that perspective, they're the same thing, temperature. And from this perspective, things get really weird. Take someone you hate. I absolutely hate that person. I despise them. Okay, well, let me ask you this. Have you ever had in your life someone that you swore like, oh, I hate that person, and then they grew on you a little bit? And the more you hung around them, the more you understood them, and eventually you started to like them. Or the opposite. Have you ever had someone that you loved, like an ex, you loved them deeply, and then they hurt you? You look at that person, you're like, oh man, I don't like them or I hate them. What's going on there? How can you go from love to hate, hate to love? That's because love and hate are the same thing on a spectrum. All truths are but half truths. Next up, the law of gender. Gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Now, it's important to note, we're not talking about biological sex, we're not talking about orientation, we're not talking about gender in that sense. What this is saying is that everything and everyone has a masculine and a feminine-like energy. I have that, you have that, we all have that. a yin and a yang, to use that ancient symbol. People get triggered with this when they apply it to other people, but try and apply this to yourself. Just think about you. Brief story on this. In my 20s, I had a ton of masculine energy. It's competitive, it's, you know, testosterone driven, sort of like the cliches there. And so I would say like all this, you know, spiritual, esoteric things, it's all BS, because what matters is like setting goals, going after them. Well, what happened is that energy burned so hot that it's like kindling on the fire. So I hit this point where I was unfulfilled, I was tired, and I hadn't really achieved that much, quote unquote, and I thought I should be further ahead. So what I did is I just took a few months off. During that time, I started reading a lot of spirituality. I started revisiting a lot of Osho's teachings and more like Eastern esoteric ideas. Videos about letting go. Videos about not having attachment to your goals because that pushes it away. So the Eastern camp, this is what I call more of like the feminine approach to self-improvement. Then there's the Western camp, which is more of the masculine approach to self-improvement. This is that like write your goals down and stare them in front of the face and 20 times a day and use discipline and, you know, conquer your inner bitch. Well, this camp says be in the present moment, that's all there is. You know, feel into your intuition, your authenticity. Well, I think the best approach is what we talked about earlier, polarity. They're on the same spectrum, self-improvement and self-healing. You need both, don't you? Bringing this full circle now. Once I started using some of this Eastern self-healing, I started feeling recharged. Things had more of a lightness to them. I started to be able to do what I used to do over here with half the effort, and I feel like I got double the results in return from it. The point is that with these polarities, with this law of, you know, your masculine energy and your feminine energy, you want to be balanced in between. That's where you're gonna get the most authentic version of you. Hey, if you are liking this video, can you do me a quick favor? Give it a thumbs up. That really helps us out. It's free, takes 2 seconds. And subscribe if you're not already. And if you want our personal help creating and shifting into that 2.0 version of you, like you feel like you got so much untapped potential and you want to bring it out this year, see what you're really capable of, I'll link down below our Metamorphic program. 10 weeks in and out, create the 2.0 you and help you shift with expert level coaching. You get some shadow work involved in there. I'll link down below where you can talk to one of our coaches, see if we can genuinely help you and see if it's the right move for you. The law of vibration. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. Nikola Tesla, along those same lines, famously said, if you want to know the secrets of the universe, think in terms energy, frequency, and vibration, baby. Now here's what's crazy, is recently quantum physics came along and kind of shook the Newtonian worldview that we were going off of. It says that at the smallest view, this tortoise that I'm sitting on right now, it looks solid. But here's the thing, when you zoom in at the smallest quantum level, everything is vibrating. In fact, there's one tiny, tiny, tiny speck of matter and 99.99999 repeating percent empty space. What is that empty space filled with? Well, I theorize it's energy. Everything's fluid, it moves, it's vibrating around that one little tiny speck of matter. Well, if it's true that physical things are energy, it's also true that your emotions and your feelings have an energetic vibrational charge to them. You know, I've showed you this in other videos. There's a scale of emotions that if you ranked all your emotions that you could feel on a given day, you'd probably come up with something like that. So the act of raising your vibe is nothing more than doing things that put you in those higher vibrational states and trying to minimize the lower vibrational states. You'll notice is that when you start raising your vibration, it's natural for the people, places, things in your life to change as well. And think about it, like when you hang around people that you love, don't you walk away feeling uplifted and charged? This can also be for people who are lower energy. So people who are really into, let's just say, doom and gloom, like political news, everything's going to hell in a handbasket. Well, you look at their circle and that's what they talk about. That's who they're attracted to. Those are the kind of conversations they want. And you might find that when you start tapping into what makes me feel charged, what makes me feel alive, what makes me feel awesome, you raise your vibe up. Sometimes you outgrow people who are on a lower vibrational frequency. So the solution to this law is not to fix other people and try and raise their vibe for them. The solution to getting everything you want is raising yourself up, tapping into the highest vibrational states that you can tap into. Now, how do you do this? Well, you can do practices, and I would strongly recommend you answer the questions. What makes you feel high vibe? Who are you around? What are you doing? What are you consuming? Get 5 or 6 of these things. Try and do them every day, if not every week, and watch yourself start to feel better. Let's get into the next one. This is the law of rhythm. Good thing I'm a drummer, not a beatboxer. Everything flows, out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. The pendulum swing manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. Everything in life has a vibration, has a polarity, but it also has a rhythm. A natural swing to this way and a swing back this way. And there's that brief moment in between where it's stopped and it's consistent, but then eventually it swings this way and it swings back that way. That's literally how life works. So when we're trying to be like, I just want things to be consistent and secure and predictable, that's in the middle where there's no energy. It's not swinging like this, right? It's just flatlined. And if you don't have a rhythm, you're dead. You're 6 feet under. So how do you apply this to your life? Well, know that everything has a rhythm. Everything's on a pendulum. It's never just stuck in the middle. You know, your business is going to have ebbs and flows. Your relationship is going to have a rhythm. It's going to have ebbs and flows. Your life, your motivation, your energy levels, your faith, everything we could pull from is not going to be consistent, stagnant. That's no fun. And you don't actually want that. Part of life is embracing this rhythm and saying, okay, bring it on. Law number 2 is the law of compensation. Another way of saying reaping and sowing. You get what you give. Also a great hardcore album by The Ghost Inside, one of my favorites. You're looking for gym music, that's the one. Ralph Waldo Emerson actually wrote an essay on compensation, that each of us are compensated for the amount we give, however much or however little. Don't fall into this trap of one of the worst mindsets you can have. You know what it is? Always doing the minimum. Well, what does it matter? I'll just do the minimum because I get paid the same amount either way. Like, people who operate that in their job, that's scary because they do that in their life. Well, why go to the gym? You know, I'm just gonna be average health and I'm just gonna be out of shape. Like, if you have that mindset of I'm someone who does the minimum, I guarantee you those are the people who are getting divorced. Those are the people who are out of shape. Those are the people whose lives they look at and they're like, why do I have an average life? Or why do other people have it better than me? It's because it's literally your mindset of I'm gonna put in the least amount of effort to try and get the most amount of reward. And that doesn't just stop at the job. That doesn't just stop in your relationship. That leaches into your body, to your other relationships, to your life in general. Just having the mindset of always doing your best, which is what they try to teach you in elementary school. Like, always do your best. Your efforts don't go unnoticed. Like, you get rewarded if you work hard. These are the lessons they try to instill in us. But then we get into an adult and we get kind of jaded because we see people get promoted who don't work as hard or they get rewarded. Scrap all of that. The thing you can control is your effort. And I know there's times where life seems unfair because I give so much and I get so little. But just know that over time, whether you want to call it karma, whether you want to call it your efforts paying off, the universe rewarding you, your hard work does not go unnoticed. The law of mentalism. It states, the all is mind, the universe is mental. Now that's not just something your British friend says to you. The universe is mental, man. One possible interpretation is through things like controlling your thoughts or meditation, awareness. It's possible to influence your emotional and physical state. This year I've been really observing how anger and impatience are not signs of strength. It's kind of backwards, because like you see a movie when someone's really angry and they're like throwing plates, or they get in a fight and you're like, wow, that's strength. We're kind of conditioned that like lots of reactivity and not this like stoic stillness, that's a sign of strength, is like, just an outrage. But it's not. Because look, oftentimes in life, the things that anger you or you get irritated by aren't like big, massive ones where you're throwing plates and you're breaking glass. It's little things day to day, like your dog wants to go out for an extra 10 minutes, or someone cuts you off in traffic. And that's a lesson I've told myself, that if I have a big problem, I'm a small person. So this year, really trying to like keep my patience and not lose your temper, because that's a sign of weakness, not a sign of strength. Next is the law of one. The law of one, simply stated, is that every single thing is interconnected. If you're seeing it, if you're experiencing it, if you're feeling it, if you're smelling it, if you're tasting it, everything on this world is interconnected in some way. I got this from a philosopher, Ken Wilber, by the way. He calls this principle holons, talking about the interconnectedness and how you fit into this whole equation. So at the smallest level, you have things like atoms, and you have what they're composed of. At a bigger level, you have molecules. Then you have a cell within your body. But the cell's not just there, you have a collection of them. That's what we call tissues. Within your body, you have systems, your respiratory system, your cardiovascular system, your musculoskeletal system. All of those comprised make up you. But you're not just some solo lone wolf your whole life. Chances are, you had a mom and a dad, but your family fits into the local community, going bigger. It's not just you, it's a collection of your neighbors, of your local government, which goes to a circle further out, which is your city, that's within a state, that's within a country, that's within a region, that's within a planet, that's within a solar system, that's within an entire universe. And eventually, from that perspective, starting at the smallest quantum level, throw back to our vibrations, going to like an atom all the way out to you, the solar system, it's all one. Whichever way you cut it, all is one. Last but not least, we have the law of relativity. Nothing is good or bad, but thinking that makes it so. Everything is empty of meaning except the meaning that you give it. Everything is neutral, and it's our interpretation that projects good, bad judgment onto it. No matter what book you read, no matter what philosophy, no matter what religion you encounter, you will encounter the law of relativity. That it's your thoughts, it's your judgments that determine whether things are good, bad, neutral, somewhere in between. And you're not always in control of what happens to you, but you're always in control of your response to that. And it doesn't mean situations are easier, and it doesn't minimize hardship in your life. But the goal of this law is to pull yourself out of a victim mentality that things are happening to you and there's nothing you can do about it. It's a beautiful thing to realize that your judgments and your interpretations, like you have so much power within you that you can literally change your whole life by changing your meaning that you're giving things. And with that, we conclude our 12 laws. Which one was your favorite? Let me know in the comments. Were there any that were new? If you want our help creating the 2.0 you in under 10 weeks, I'll link down below our Metamorphic program. We've helped 850 individuals go from being on the couch, the chair, the phone, the computer, watching content like this, to actually using it, more importantly, changing in their life. They were just like you, being like, what is that? Well, let me check it out. Let me see for myself. And then they're on the other side, so stoked that they did. So I'll link down below where you can apply and learn more. What I'll do now is link up right here a perfect follow-up to this video. If you want to keep the party going, keep the vibes high. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you there.